first welcome everyone who is present here. I also welcome the guest of the MEC, as well as the speaker up there. Greetings to you all, and greetings to the Executive Council and members of the legislature, as well as the officials of the legislature. Honorable members, on the issue of the rules, honorable members, this budget debate is conducted through hybrid means, and the normal standing rules of the legislature will apply to the debate. Before we proceed to the budget debate, I must reiterate the ruling of the Speaker, which relates to connectivity issues. The Speaker has ruled that the following measures will be adopted to try and assist members who may not be able to participate in a debate due to connectivity challenges. If a member has problems with connectivity and is unable to deliver his or her speech, the presiding officer will call the next speaker on the speaker's list, so as to delay the procedure, so as not to delay the proceedings. If the member regains connectivity before a response to the debate has commenced, the presiding officer will be flexible and allow the affected member to deliver his or her speech with the proviso that the member reconnects to the sitting prior to the commencement of the response to the debate. Secondly, we request that a member who is scheduled to participate in a debate should arrange with a fellow party member to be on standby to read the member's speech into the record should there be a need, the need arise. The presiding officer will allow a fellow party member to read out the speech on behalf of a member who is unable to deliver his or her own speech. If all interventions fail and a member is still unable to deliver his or her own speech and has not managed to arrange for a fellow party member or a whip to deliver the speech on his or her on behalf, that the speech will unfortunately not form part of the official record of proceedings. In short, if members have connectivity issues, the presiding officer will follow the above guidance to try and assist them. We trust that this is in order. Lastly, members who are not actively part of a debate are reminded to mute their microphones or switch off their cameras at all times. All members are requested to take all reasonable measures to reduce any background noises that may interfere with the broadcasting of the proceedings. Honorable members, I also wish to confirm that the budget report 2023-2024 of the Finance Portfolio Committee has been tabled in terms of the standing rules. We will now proceed with the matters on the agenda, being debate on vote 6, finance. I am humbled to call upon the MEC for Finance to come and deliver her budget report for 45 minutes.
Honorable Chairperson of the session, Honorable Swart Boy Tombela, thank you very much for affording us this opportunity. Let me also acknowledge the Honorable Speaker, Ms. Nontembe Boys, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Mtembu, our Honorable Premier, Honorable Nomsa Dube, the Leader of Government Business, Honorable Duma, members of the Provincial Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, mayors and councillors of local government, Director General, Dr. Mkize, our Head of Department, Ms. Carol Kutsi, and her colleagues, traditional and religious sectors, our stakeholders, the people of KwaZulu-Natal, distinguished guests, media, members of the media, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, 6 days from today, the country will be commemorating the 29th anniversary since the attainment of our hard-earned democracy. Standing here today, we are reminded that on the 27th of April 1994, millions of South Africans stood to cast their first ever ballot in deciding their future. A lot has been achieved by the ANC-led government in this period, but it is true that there is a lot more that still needs to be done. One of the country's celebrated achievements that the nation prides itself with is the Constitution, which guarantees the human rights. Hence, as a country, we were celebrating the Human Rights Day last month. Guided by courageous women of the struggle for the total destruction of patriarchy, this budget is also women-centered. As Mama Winnie Nomzamo Madikizela Mandela once said, I quote, "It is only when all black groups join hands and speak with one voice that we shall be a bargaining force which will decide its own destiny." I close quotes. Somlomo miningi imizamo eyenziwe yizwe kanye nesifundazwe sakithi ukuqikelela ukuthi abantu besifazane, intsha kanye nabakhubazekile nabo bayathuthukiswa baphinde bahlomule ezinhlelweni zikahulumeni. Siwumnyango kaMgcini Mafa wesifundazwe ngaphambilini sethula isiphakamiso ngaphambi kwalendlu ehloniphekile ukuba iminyango kahulumeni, omasipala kanye nezinkampani zikahulumeni ziqale zibe nezinhlelo ezibhekelela ubulili uma zenza izinhlelo zazo zezezimali. Sikholelwa ukuthi lokhu kungasiza kakhulu ukuthuthukisa abantu besifazane. On that note, Honorable Speaker, we are also aware that April is a very significant month in the calendar of our country as we remember the country's revolutionaries and stalwarts. As I have already indicated, Mam Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Oliver Reginald Tambo, and Chris Hani. They dedicated their lives and fought relentlessly against the apartheid regime. Moreover, they committed themselves in the struggle against the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, as well as peace and social justice. In these trying times, we remember their wisdom and courageous efforts in guiding the prosecution of the struggle towards the total liberation of our country. As we celebrate the milestone in the history of our democracy, we are reminded of the wise words by Chris Hani when he said, I quote, "If you want peace, then you must struggle for social justice," close quotes. That is exactly what we aim to achieve through this budget, because we believe that this freedom will be meaningless without the complete realization of peace and social justice. With that being said, we are well aware of the persistent challenges, including the escalating crime and gender-based violence facing our country. As the ANC-led government, we have identified key priority areas where we need to focus on as a matter of urgency, hence the establishment of the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, which is at the center of resolving the challenges that we allude to. This plan provides a decisive and a clear focus strategy to address some of the critical challenges, which include, amongst others, the renewal of the nation, resolving the energy crisis to end load shedding, boldly mobilizing social partners around economic reconstruction and recovery in order to increase job creation, investment, and empowerment, improving delivery of basic services and maintaining infrastructure, strengthening the fight against crime and corruption, and also to build a better Africa and the world. somlomo angabazi ukuthi amalunga lendlu ehloniphekile kanye nabo bonke abantu balesi sifundazwe bavumelana nathi uma sithi kuzo zonke lezi zinto ezingenhla okubaluleke kakhulu ukuxazulula inkinga kagesi kanye nokulwa nobugebengu. Therefore, tabling this budget today should be taken in the context of addressing these challenges while also continuing to deploy resources and expertise in order to ensure that we achieve good governance, fiscal discipline, and financial prudence in our province. Honorable Chairperson, allow me to table the 2023-2024 budget vote for Provincial Treasury, and our allocation in this financial year is 678,910,000 rands. With this budget, we are decisive in addressing key challenges facing our communities. It is important that we reflect on the goals we had set for ourselves in the previous year and to indicate to this House whether these were achieved before we focus on our plans for the upcoming year. Kulandela iziphakamiso ezenziwe ngonyaka owedlule sasinamaviki amabili nje onyakeni wezimali ngenkathi isifundazwe sakithi sikhahlanyezwa izikhukhula ngo-April ezadala umonakalo omkhulu ezingxenyeni eziningi zesifundazwe. Singumnyango kamgcini mafa wesifundazwe sabeke sesijutshwa ukuba siqinisekise ukuthi zonke izimali ezisetshenziswayo ngalesi sikhathi zisebenza ngendlela futhi kulandelwa yonke imigomo yokusebenza kwezimali. In this regard, we are required to reprioritize our plans for the year and allocate necessary resources in order to support this critical endeavor. This included a number of interventions which will be elaborated on below, but in summary, they include pre-award assessments of all procurement over an amount of 1 million rands in value, and also weekly reporting to Cabinet and National Treasury by all departments on disaster expenditure, reporting on the cash donations received and recommending the allocation thereof, auditing with a focus on value for money of work undertaken by departments in repairing infrastructure and providing temporary housing solutions, whilst at the same time coordinating the Auditor General real-time audits in order to avoid duplication of work. The aim of this was to enhance the reliance the public could place on the processes and the spending incurred as part of the flood recovery plan, reporting to various oversight structures on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, including the technical and political disaster committees, the Provincial Disaster Management Center, and the Presidential Oversight Structure, and also budgeting adjustments were required given the lack of adequate funding from national departments and the urgent need to begin the repair work. Provincial departments reprioritized an amount of 3.129 billion rands in 2022-2023 financial year in total in response to the flood response, and 1.059 billion rands was also provided by the national government in the form of relief funding. There was also an allocation of 454 million and 313,000 rands allocated by National Treasury in 2022-2024 towards these flood repairs. Whilst the priority for the first 2 quarters of 2022-23 was to support our departments and municipalities during this turbulent time, Provincial Treasury as an oversight department was still required to deliver on its mandate. And in this regard, I would like to share the progress that was made against the pronouncements made in the previous year. Regarding our role of monitoring and evaluation, studies on financial management support initiatives provided to departments, public entities, and municipalities, we're saying a departmental evaluation committee was appointed and a 3-year evaluation plan was developed and approved. A total of 5 evaluation studies have been planned for execution over the 2023 to 2026 evaluation cycle. In 2023-2024 financial period, an evaluation study to assess the impact of the support provided to delegated municipalities with respect to the quality of annual financial statements, and a rapid evaluation study on the support provided towards the implementation of preferential procurement regulations have been planned. And with regards to improving processes through automation, focusing on cybersecurity and shifting to cloud services, Provincial Treasury has ensured that it embraces technological solutions, and through the implementation of the IT strategy aligned to the provincial approach, a total of 4 business processes were automated during 2022-2023 financial year. These range from the automation of the IT service help desk and incident management, document tracking, and digital signatures, a tool for the automation of training nominations for staff, as well as a tool for compliance assessments in departments and municipalities. Furthermore, process automation of e-learning portals to assist with the training of departments and municipalities has started, and full implementation thereof will be completed in 2023-2024 financial year. The procurement of new servers was conducted on the 28th of March 2023 through SETA, and will further strengthen the capabilities and efficiencies of the department's key business processes. We have not been satisfied with the quality of support we have received from SETA, which has impacted our productivity and access to critical data. As a result, we have instituted penalties on the various service level agreements. Regarding cost containment, the ICASA spectrum license provides the province with solid justification to revise to detail provincial spending on ICT. The spectrum license award comes with tangible benefits to the provincial fiscals, including but not limited to the issue of connectivity. Our revised approach will look at how the province can take advantage of economies of scale, improve efficiencies, and most importantly, cost savings by cutting duplications on ICT infrastructure, including software licenses. With regards to the progress on filling of vacant posts, one of the key reasons for holistic underspending in the department has been due to the high level of vacancies in the department. As a result, a commitment was made to fill all vacant positions by the 31st of March 2023. The department finalized 81 out of the committed 107 posts during 2022-2023 financial year. Unfortunately, even with the posts filled, it has not resulted in any significant reduction in the vacancy rate due to the following reasons. 1, 32 positions had to be re-advertised due to either a lack of suitable candidates or the retention of nominated candidates by their employers. Secondly, 23 positions were filled by internal staff members, resulting in further vacancies which are required to be filled. And thirdly, the department is also experiencing a high staff turnover. A total of 23 officials have exited the department from April to date, with a large proportion remaining in the province but employed by other departments. And on a positive note, we are retaining many of our interns and South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, SAICA, students in entry-level positions, and these play a critical role in providing a pool of talented financial management skills for the provincial public service. A total of 68 positions are currently at various stages of the recruitment process, and these will be finalized by the end of May 2023. The Honorable Premier has granted approval to fill a further 29 vacancies, and these posts are aimed to be concluded by the end of August 2023. Despite the enormity of processing, a large quantum of applications received, given the current level of unemployed young graduates who apply, for example, for entry-level posts where we can receive more than 1,500 applications on average, all of which must be assessed individually, the department remains committed to fast-tracking the filling of all vacancies. Regarding job massification, during the 2023 SOPA, an announcement was made that all frontline departments should contribute to the provincial job massification drive. And whilst provincial treasury is not a frontline department, with the savings realized during the year, an amount of 10 million rands was suspended during the November adjustment estimate process for reallocation in the 2023-2024 budget. And these funds will be utilized for the employment of 70 interns in the construction discipline to undertake condition assessment of government facilities in partnership with the Department of Public Works. The draft MOU has been prepared and the program will commence in the first quarter of the new year. The program is envisaged to provide 12 months working experience and aims to open opportunities for young graduates to hopefully find permanent employment thereafter. With regards to our provincial budget management, one of the areas we feel we have achieved a significant milestone is in the intergovernmental discussions that were held over the past few months in highlighting some of the budget pressures in the province. In this regard, Provincial Treasury reported the budget pressures in the Departments of Education and Health, at various national sector meetings and in the engagements with National Treasury at budget likhutla, makhutlas, and budget councils. These resulted in the province receiving significant additional funding for the Departments of Education and Health over the 2023-2024 MTF, as we explained in the provincial budget speech. Somlomo, kwakhiwa ithimba elihlanganisa umnyango womgcinimafa wesifundazwe kanye nomnyango wezokubusa ngokubambisana nezindaba zobuholi bomdabu ukuxoxa nokuqinisekisa ukuthi udaba lokukhokhelwa kwezinduna umhlomulo obuyekeziwe luyenzeka. Asikushayela ihlombe siqinisekise-ke Somlomo namalungu ahloniphekile ukuthi lolu daba seluphethwe seluphothuliwe. Izinduna sezithola umhlomulo wazo obuyekeziwe ekupheleni kwenyanga zizothola umhlomulo wazo obuyekeziwe ekupheleni kwenyanga kaMbasa uApril. UCocta yiwona unikezwe igunya lokuqhuba lomsebenzi okhokhelwa izinduna singumnyango womgcinimafa esifundazweni soqinisekisa ukuthi lolu hlelo lwenzeka ngendlela. We were also very pleased to see several departments, including Provincial Treasury, supporting the social sector departments and public works when faced with serious spending pressures when we tabled the second adjustment estimates in the House on the 30th of March 2023. The second adjustment estimate has mitigated the risk of a significant overdraft position through the allocation of savings and underspending by departments. And whilst these departments could have requested for a suspension of these funds to 2023-2024 as several critical projects were required to be implemented, the Provincial Executive Council took a bold and a decisive decision in dealing with this matter. We simply could not revert to the 2028-2029 financial position where we had gone into overdraft, and whilst there are still significant spending pressures and material accruals expected at year-end, Provincial Treasury will endeavor to ensure that prudent fiscal management is employed in the province. With regards to revenue management, Honorable Chairperson, an initial study into the revenue earned by departments and also by schools through placing cell phone mast towers on government properties was undertaken. With respect to mast towers on school properties, this revenue is collected by the respective schools and assists them with their operating costs. However, it would appear that the Department of Public Works could assist the Department of Education to determine a fair income per school by basing the amount collected on the property valuations, as currently there are varying methods of determining the amount to be collected from each mast tower, and revenue may not currently be maximized. The research undertaken concluded that deeper research is still required. Through the initial findings, though the initial findings are that some work could be undertaken by the Department of Public Works to develop a marketing strategy with respect to government properties that are suitable for erecting such towers and to approach the cell phone companies in this regard. The rate charged is currently based on property valuations, and this was deemed an acceptable method of determining a fair price, with the only method to increase the revenue being collected by the province, then being to increase the reach through the proposed marketing initiative. With regards to the supply chain management, Honorable Chairperson, there has been a flurry of activity in the supply chain management space in the province, with the year commencing with the void of legislative prescripts as the outcome of the constitutional ruling as it was being interpreted, resulting in all organs of state applying for exemption in order to continue procuring goods and services. This culminated in revised national preferential procurement regulations being issued relatively late in the year. It was only in November 2022 with an effective date of 16 January 2023. The Provincial Executive Council resolved that there should be consistency in the province, and a guideline framework was issued to ensure compliance with the new regulations. Provincial SCM undertook extensive workshops in all districts in the province. These sessions were well attended by government officials and service providers to ensure that an understanding of the new regulations and SCM processes related thereto, especially regarding the submission of compulsory bid documents. The new regulations necessitated a review of SCM policies of the provincial departments, public entities, and municipalities. Provincial SCM provided support to all organs of state and reviewed over 65 SCM policies to date. The new regulations and policies see a shift away from BEE scorecards to specific goals set to procurement of any value. This will be monitored and reported on during this financial year by departments and provincial treasury. Honorable Chairperson, with regards to flood relief procurement and our process of pre-award assessments, as indicated earlier, Provincial Treasury was mandated to undertake pre-award assessments of flood relief procurement with a value in excess of 1 million rands as means to mitigate the occurrences of irregular expenditure in the SCM processes. These assessments were required to be undertaken in a short period of time, given the urgency of the much-needed procurement for communities affected by the April 2022 floods. Provincial SCM has undertaken 90 pre-award assessments to the value of 1.184861 billion rands, 1,184,861,512 rands to date. Departments were required to report on the expenditure relating to the floods, and as at the 24th of February 2023, orders to the value of 1,531,599,616 rands were issued, and invoices to the value of 312 million rands have been paid. The breakdown of the April flood disaster response awards is as follows. With regards to Black African-owned enterprises, the total disaster procurement spend was way above 1 billion rands. With regards to Black women African-owned businesses, it's about 530 million rands. Military veterans, about 22 million rands. Youth, 546.7 million rands. And people with disabilities, 3.393 and 950, 3,393,950. And in order to support the improvement of financial governance across provincial organs of the state and to reduce the number of SCM-related audit findings, the following key initiatives were undertaken. 18 SCM training sessions were held on topics such as local content, bid committees, and general SCM compliance. 2 training sessions on the contract management framework were held, given its direct link to irregular expenditure. 6 SCM forums were held as learning and sharing platform on SCM-related issues. 7 central supplier database training sessions were held with officials and suppliers. A help desk was provided at all community engagements to further support suppliers in accessing government opportunities. The matter relating to employees of the state doing business with government has been raised in the AG's audit reports on provincial institutions. Provincial SCM produced reports on employees of the state registered on the CSD and shared these with both the accounting officers and provincial organs of state who were advised on the potential conflict as requested to assess and implement remedial action where necessary. Provincial supply chain management on a monthly basis further monitors the uploading of employee information onto the CSD by all municipalities in the province, as employees of the state may not undertake business with the state. Regarding provincial spend on Operation Vula commodities, honorable members, we're saying prior to the revised procurement policies, departments were required to procure specifically identified commodities from targeted groups. In this respect, Provincial Treasury provided guidance to departments in developing their specifications and monitoring the awards made in this regard. The Provincial Internal Audit Unit also reviewed the level of compliance by departments given the commitments made to support targeted groups. The report, as at the 31st of December 2022, indicated that 3.2 billion rands was spent on Operation Vula commodities, with 38.5% being awarded to women-owned companies, 10.5% to youth, 0.33% to disabled persons, and 0.22% to military veterans. Given the significant value of procurement spending in the province, estimated around 29.2 billion rands, the province must ensure that opportunities are provided to the targeted priority groups to participate in the contracts awarded by the provincial departments and other organs of the state. Therefore, over and above the Operation Vula commodities, Provincial Treasury measures the extent to which departments spend on the priority groups throughout the year and consistently advises departments on how they can achieve and exceed the target set. In this regard, Honorable Chairperson, we are excited to report that by the 28th of February 2023, a total of 29.2 billion rands estimated has been spent on targeted priority groups. Of this amount, 36% was awarded to black-owned companies, 14% to women, 9% to youth, 0.25% to disabled persons, and 0.68% to military veterans. Regarding our Operation Clean Audit, the department continued to play a significant role in the audit readiness support project to enhance financial management of departments and public entities. The continued implementation of the province-wide Operation Clean Audit Plan has resulted in an overall improvement in the provincial PFMA audit outcomes, with an increase in the number of departments achieving clean audits and a reduction in the number of qualified audit opinions. 8 departments received clean audits, honorable members. 8 departments received clean audits, I repeat, compared to 5 clean audits in the previous year. 5 departments received unqualified audit opinions, and 2 departments received qualified audit opinions compared to 3 qualified in the previous year. 12 public entities achieved clean audits, while 5 achieved unqualified audit opinions. 11 public entities sustained their clean audit, while 1 entity regressed from a clean audit to an unqualified audit opinion, and the audit outcome of 1 entity improved from an unqualified audit to a clean audit, with the overall result remaining the same for public entities. Financial management support was provided to departments and public entities to enhance their financial accounting and asset management reporting. Financial management support included the following initiatives: reviewal of interim and annual financial statements for selected public entities, deployment of officials to departments to assist with asset management and the interim and annual financial statements preparation process, provision of technical guidance and support during the audit process to departments and public entities, and provision of financial management training to strengthen capacity of officials. Regarding the condonation of irregular expenditure, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, the condonation of irregular expenditure project resulted in Provincial Treasury receiving condonation requests to the value of 18.5 billion rands from departments and 267.4 million rands from public entities as at the 31st of March 2023. Provincial Treasury has condoned 6.9 billion rands of the irregular expenditure of departments and 82.8 million rands of the public entities. Detailed feedback is provided to respective applicants and sessions which are held with accounting officer, and training is offered to training is offered to the relevant personnel. Our Operation Pay on Time program has a team which ensures that support is given to SMMEs in particular with regards to resolving payment disputes with organs of state and the service providers. This operation has resulted in the resolution of payment queries of 98 suppliers totaling to 42.7 million rands. There was an average of 93.4% compliance in the number of invoices paid by departments within a period of 30 days as required by the PFMA, compared to 94.2% in the prior year, with the decline being attributable to the spending pressures of the social sector departments not having the cash available to process valid payments timeously. This has also resulted in the value of accruals increasing substantially at year end and must receive the necessary attention by accounting officers. As part of enhancing Operation Pay on Time, Provincial Treasury is an accredited SAICA training office that provides a 3-year training program. It also accepts graduates that were recipients of the Tutuga Education Upliftment Fund who, upon completion, will be eligible for registration as chartered accountants. The program was initiated to address the scarcity of black CAs in the province and also improve the financial management talent pool available in the public sector. After successful completion of the training contract, participants are then offered entry into the management development program, which runs for a further 5 years. In the previous financial year, there were 2 trainees that qualified as CAs. Provincial Treasury was the first training institution in the country to implement the new CA 2025 electronic assessment tool. Regarding our provincial internal audit services, we responded promptly to the request by the Provincial Executive Council to conduct flag disaster audits. Treasury conducted reviews in consultation with the Auditor General on the disaster management control environment across provincial departments. Audits on value for money were undertaken, as well as physical verification of temporary residential accommodation provided to the flood victims. Furthermore, this work included price comparison assessments, audits on donations received by the province, and a review of the Provincial Disaster Management Center. With regards to municipal finance management services, the quarterly report in terms of Section 71 of 7 of the MFMA as part of the in-year monitoring process has been enhanced by Provincial Treasury and is used as an early warning system to identify and assist municipalities facing financial challenges, including any emerging of or impeding financial challenges. Municipalities identified as experiencing financial problems are closely monitoring, and the findings from the IYM process are communicated to the affected municipalities, which they are required to present to their municipal councils. Honorable Chairperson, we have observed a decline in the financial management of some municipalities and an outright neglect of the stipulated financial regulations. Hence, we are working with COCTA to address these challenges. Provincial Treasury has identified the support municipalities during the 2022-2023 budget preparation process in order to assist municipalities to approve funded budgets. budgets. A circular was issued to all delegated municipalities providing guidance on the 22-23 budget preparation process, informing the municipalities of the key areas to ensure compliance and the relevant information required to enable the effective assessment of the budget. Of the 51 delegated municipalities, tabled budgets assessed, Provincial Treasury determined that 34 tabled budgets were funded and 17 were unfunded based on this M-score data strings uploaded in the GoMuni upload portal. Bilateral engagements were conducted with all 51 delegated municipalities between the 22nd of April and 19th of May 2022, during which Provincial Treasury presented the findings from the assessment of the 2022-2023 tabled budgets. The support provided by Provincial Treasury resulted in only 8 municipalities, namely Ulundi, Utukela, Mzinyathi, Umkhanyaku, Demoy River, Baqulusi and Ndumeni, approving unfunded budgets for 2022-2023 financial year, which is an improvement from the 17 unfunded budgets in the previous year. As a result, these 8 municipalities were supported by Provincial Treasury to ensure that municipalities table and approve credible budget funding plans, which are then monitored to ensure compliance thereto. At a macro level, Provincial Treasury provided capacity building to all KZN municipalities by conducting quarterly CFO forums and training seminars with the aim of strengthening the financial management capability in local government. 5 CFO fora and training seminars were conducted in 2022-2023 financial year. Honorable members, when we presented the provincial budget, we pointed out that the allocation of resources to the provincial departments was aimed at accelerating service delivery. It is the ordinary people of this province who must enjoy the fruits of democracy. On municipal billing and revenue collection in all municipalities, customer data integrity is central to accurate billing. Section 154 of the Constitution makes it an obligation for us to provide this support. It is therefore against this background that the Provincial Treasury will support municipalities to clean their data so as to ensure accurate billing and collections amongst other initiatives. As at the 31st of March 2023, National Treasury, in line with our provincial budget speech, has issued Circular 124, which is in the main it deals with the ESCOM debt. It also deals with the relief package and the timelines. We implore municipalities to engage with this process in order to address this debt. As Provincial Treasury will provide assistance in this regard by setting aside financial resources and deploying expertise. The focus will be on doing debt book analysis and categorizing in order to create a billing list of customers who are capable to pay and exempting those who are indigent. As we present this budget policy statement, we wish to commit that we will double our efforts to curb fruitless and wasteful expenditure in departments and various municipalities and entities. The ANC, as the governing party, has mandated Provincial Treasury to work with the Office of the Premier and the Department of COGTA to implement a comprehensive turnaround strategy. It has been highlighted by the AG in the latest municipal audits results that audit opinion movements have regressed in more than 10 municipalities. During this term of office, we will intensify the assessment of the status of all 54 municipalities. Roving teams responsible for the municipal support program will be deployed on a regular basis across all corners of the province. We will work with the Auditor General to enable municipalities to improve their capacity to meet their financial obligations and commitments. This will ensure that they provide services to their communities. We will also speedily identify the causes of financial challenges experienced by the municipalities and implement measures through a financial recovery plan that will place the municipalities in a sound and sustainable financial position. Critically, we want to be proactive than being reactive to avoid circumstances where municipalities are sliding into interventions as per Section 139. Honorable Chairperson, allow me to now deal specifically with Provincial Treasury's commitments for 2023-2024 in terms of our primary service delivery objectives and funding of each Provincial Treasury's program. Full details are contained under Vote 6 of the estimates of provincial revenue and expenditure and in the annual performance plan of the department. We are pleased to announce that our preliminary year end results indicate that we have spent 99% of our budget following reallocated funding. Suspended funds into the new year and surrendering funds to contribute towards the provincial reprioritization exercise to lower the provincial fiscal risk. While this is an improvement from last year's spending of 90.6%, there is still more work to be done in this regard. We aim to undertake zero-based budgeting for this vote for the 2024-2025 budget cycle. The baseline of the department has decreased by 5.199 million rands from 684.109 million rands in 2022-2023 to 678 million rands during this current financial year. The departmental receipts increased from 295.886 million rands in 2022-23 to 302,932,000 in 23-24, reflecting a 2.4% increase. The bulk of provincial treasurer's revenue is the interest earned from the cash held in the provincial bank accounts. To maximize interest earned, withdrawals from this account are linked to the provincial cash flow requirements of departments, which is closely monitored. Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, the table below indicates the allocation of budget for 2023-2024 financial year. In the main, the overall budget amounts to a total of 678,910,000 rands. This budget is showing the varying increase or even decrease percentage in allocation per line function due to a shrinking fiscus. We have 5 programs and the budget allocated for to all the 5 programs is reflected there. For administration, which is program 1, it's 214.137 million rands. Program 2, sustainable resource management, 61.875 million rands. Program 3, financial governance, 222.695 million rands. Program 4, internal audit, 108.355 million rands. And program 5, municipal finance management, which is 72.848 million rands. And the total, honorable members, is 678.910 million rands for this current financial year. The program sees a decrease of 5% in the allocation. The decrease is mainly attributable to the reallocation of the special project budget from the HOD's office to program 3 and financial governance to assist with the spending pressures to computer services under transversal systems. The program is responsible for the execution for the executive and strategic functions of the department and includes the overall managerial and corporate responsibilities of provincial treasury. To touch on the ICT digital platform transformation strategy, we are saying the department will continue with the automation of business processes with a particular focus on integrating various ICT systems with provincial systems to ensure standardization. Another 5 processes will be automated to enhance service delivery. Plans are underway to migrate to cloud services to limit the inaccessibility to critical data during load shedding. Honorable members, regarding the gender-based violence and femicide initiatives, ukwanda kokuhlukunyezwa kwabantu besifazane kanye nezingane kuphoqa ukuthi nathi siqinise imizamo yethu yokulwisana nalesi sihlava. Yingakho sesinezinhlelo eziningi esihlose ngazo ukuphonsa itshe esivivaneni ukuze sithuthukise leyo mphakathi ekhahlamezeke kakhulu. Sizonikezela ngolwazi kumabhizinisi asathuthuka ikakhulukazi aphethwe abantu besifazane ukuze baqonde kahle ngamalungelo abo. Kodwa futhi angeke sigcine lapho, sihlele ukuthi singene ngaphakathi eminyangweni nakhona sibafundise ngokubaluleka kokuhloniphana nokuvikela abantu besifazane. With regards to energy saving solutions, in responding to a call to deal with the energy crisis in the country, this department will identify and implement energy saving solutions in the buildings it occupies, as well as the new offices which should be occupied during the year. Regarding Program 2, Sustainable Resource Management budget of 61.875 million rands, the program sees an increase of 16% in the allocation related to the once-off reallocation of 10 million rands that was suspended during the 2022-23 financial year to assist with the job massification initiative. For the first time, we will also be targeting young people, and the 10 million rands will be utilized to empower young people in the provincial treasury. Thank you, honorable members. With regard,
MEC, you may continue. We are going to deduct your time at the end.
siyabonga, Somlomo, sengizothi qaphu qaphu.
Yeah, just
Thank you
round
so
up.
much. Okay, regarding Program 3, Financial Governance budget of 221.695 million rands, the program sees an increase of 9%. We'll focus on capacity building in various government institutions in the following key areas: contract management, general SCM prescripts, bid committees, basic SCM internal controls. Will be assisting government departments. There is a public procurement bill, honorable members. Those regulations could potentially hamper a number of initiatives undertaken by provincial departments, e.g. the removal of prerequisite BEE levels, and therefore once the public procurement bill is issued for comments, extensive engagements will have to be held with all relevant stakeholders in order to make a substantive input on the draft bill and thereby materially inform the procurement policies of the country, and will implore all members to really pay attention to this bill. It's a very, very important bill that needs to be transformative in its nature. With regards to accounting services, we are saying we wish to emphasize on the fact that we are dealing with the requests for condonation of irregular expenditure by all government departments and public entities as provincial treasury. Program 4, internal audit budget of 108,355,000. This program sees a decrease of 7% in the allocation related to reprioritization of funds to Program 3, as we have already alluded to that fact, and honorable members will go through all what is reflected there under Program 4. Program 5, we're dealing with municipal management budget of 72.848 million rands, honorable members, and as I have already indicated, we'll focus on supporting municipalities in order for them to be compliant as per the prescripts of the law. In conclusion, honorable members, we're saying with the total budget of 678,910,000, the provincial treasury will ensure that we are leaving no one behind in our journey towards good governance and financial prudence. These funds will be used to roll out a variety of support and oversight programs as articulated in this address. Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, the overarching principle under which the budget is built upon is our request for economic reconstruction and recovery, the total emancipation of our people from bondages of poverty, unemployment and inequality, as well as the gender-sensitive and responsive budgeting. This is aimed at eradicating systemic patriarchy and persistent economic challenges facing our women. Indeed, we will leave no one behind. As I conclude, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, let me extend my humble gratitude to the African National Congress, a very progressive movement in our country, and to the leadership in the Provincial Executive Council, our Premier, Honorable Nomusa Dube-Ncube, with all members of the Provincial Executive Council, as we continue to support one another, to all honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, in particular, the Portfolio Committee on Finance and SCOPA, for engaging us all the time, and also for supporting and coming up with wise advices to all government departments and to ourselves. Allow me, Honorable Chairperson, to also thank our head of department, together with her team, Ms. Carol Kuti, for their commitment and dedication to this department. And I'm forever grateful for the love and support that one always receives from the family. Bakhona, Ochibini, Odlanyega, nabo bonke, nabazukulu, siyabonga kakhulu. Mina ngethi ugogo kule legislature bakwethu ngicela ningibongise. Honorable Speaker, I therefore present the vote 6 provincial treasury budget for 2023-2024 for consideration by this House. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, MEC. We'll now have the report by the Chairperson of Finance, Honorable S. Sinkosi, for 10 minutes. Order, Honorable.
Mamuhlalo angizi lento yakho angengisi
You can start, the Chairperson, for 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the meeting, for allowing us to table this report on behalf of the Portfolio Committee of KwaZulu-Natal. I want to indicate that the core mandate of the Finance Portfolio Committee is to conduct oversight, primarily on vote number 6, the Provincial Treasury, as well as transversally over the financial performance of all government departments and entities. Scrutinizing the budget for the Treasury and making recommendation thereof is part of our mandate. The committee met on the 16th of March 2023 to consider the 2023-2024 annual performance plan and budget allocation for this vote number 6. So the budget allocated to this provincial treasury has been mentioned by our MEC. Just to repeat the figure, is 678.91 million rand. That's the legal budget that we have. And it is distributed to 5 programs. But despite this small budget, the Provincial Treasury of KwaZulu-Natal performs all the functions as per the Constitution, which is a pride of the Republic of South Africa, this KZN Provincial Treasury. We want to conclude, Chairperson, by indicating that the members of the Finance Portfolio Committee unanimously adopted the annual performance plan and the budget of the Provincial Treasury. That's what happened in the Finance Portfolio Committee. I would like to thank all the honorable members of the Finance Portfolio Committee for their cooperation and dedication to their work, as well as the legislature support staff for preparing us for such important task. On behalf of the Finance Portfolio Committee of this glorious province, I would like to thank the MEC for Finance and all her officials for availing themselves to present their budget and the APP for the financial year under review. And want also to indicate that we are very proud of both our MEC and the officials of that provincial treasury. The Committee of Finance in KZN recommends to this House that we support the budget of vote number 6, which is 678.910 million rand. I thank you, Chairperson. Asikhulumi into ezininzi, sithetha nje lokho kubalekile.
Thank you, Chairperson. We will now have the first speaker. The first speaker is Honorable RZP Zulu of the African National Congress for 9 minutes.
Siyabonga sihlalo, sifisa ukubingelela kuwe. Sibingelele kusomlomo amalungu onke sishaya umthetho. Sibingelele ku-MEC. Sifisa ukubingelela kubona bonke abantu besifundazwe sakithi kwaZulu Natal. Honorable members, we are turning the corner towards the final lap of these important proceedings. And what better honor can a revolutionary party of the stature and size of this ANC can do than to bestow upon as its representative ngicela kubanja ama-minutes. Can bestow upon as its representative the responsibility to represent it on this debate for vote 6. It is with that humility and honor. This April, we mark 29 years of democracy after our people partook in the democratic vote for the first time.
I'm sorry, Honorable Zulu. Order, honorable members, order, please.
It is ironically unbelievable that the mayor of the town where our struggling icon, Umadiba, was arrested in Howick. The mayor of a town that harbors such enormous history for our path to freedom has decided to erase the ethos that adorn this town by calling us Amaselesele, the frogs. Nelson Mandela, when he was captured in his city, he was fighting a ruthless apartheid system that relegated Africans to animals. We are appalled that 3 decades later, Mayor Papas has defaulted to into factory settings. Mayor Papas has returned to his roots, referring to humans as animals. What is even more appalling but not surprising is the silence of the leadership of the Democratic Alliance. Your silence is indeed very loud. One can only wonder what will be people of Popomeni and others in Howick process that the new reality that 29 years of democracy achieved by struggling icons like Madiba was all meaningless in the eyes of Chris Papas. Be it as it may be, Chris Papas is a product of the Democratic Alliance, a party descendant from the racist apartheid system. Kubantu base KZN nakhona empopomeni nase Howick namaphethelo. Thina sisamile njengombutho ukuthi izinkinga ezibhekene neSNP umnyango uzilungise ngokukhawuleza futhi ukulungisa kwabo kube ngokuyalela umthetho olawo lokusebenza kwezimali kuhulumeni esithi iPFMA Act 1 of 1999. We want to first begin by congratulating the MEC and her team, the HOD, CFO, and the department for having adopted their APP, which has successfully managed to seamlessly align the national and provincial priorities to create a capable and ethical and developmental state that will drive economic growth and job creation, as articulated in the NDP. The APP has managed to align those priorities and give its emergent status to reflect the priorities of the KZN provincial government. We therefore welcome the APP that will create credible, accountable, and ethical fiscal and financial management practices in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable members, we wish to state to this House that at the Finance Portfolio Committee, under the watchful eye of our Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Sipho K. Nkos, we have monitored this process very closely and have guided it to the latter.
We applaud the MEC and the department for being transplant and process forecast. In our engagement with the MEC and the department in the portfolio committee, we are fully aware of the hardship and turbulent waters you, Honorable MEC, have had to navigate to arrive where we are today and secure the fiscal sustainability of the province. We appreciate your resolve and tenacity under a volatile fiscal climate. It must be noted that capacity of this department to effectively execute its mandate and key functions, which is optimally allocate financial resources and enhance revenue generation, while ensuring that all financial transactions adhere to applicable legislation and corporate governance principles. The capacity of this department to execute this function has far-reaching implications in running an efficient provincial government and government that can deliver to its service delivery imperatives through its supports to government institutions, department, entities, and municipalities. The collapse in the systems of provinces' treasury is the collapse in fiscus of the provincial government and equal service delivery across the departments. This department can therefore not afford to flirt with mediocrity, which is why Honorable MEC and your team do not take lightly of this milestone. Honorable members, we wish to note and welcome the allocation of 678 million to vote 6. We'll not waste time and be academic about what this vote entails, but we want to be blatant and forthright to this House about what this budget means to the people of KwaZulu-Natal. This is indeed a groundbreaking budget policy statement of an ANC-led department and ANC-led provincial government that has managed to score a groundbreaking and epoch-making victory for Izinduna, which was a commitment made by the ANC after the same commitment and achieved the payment of Amakos, thus restoring the dignity in the lives of our traditional leaders. This has been achieved to the task team, including National Treasury Court and the department. We will drum this to the ears of those who opposed this and believe it was unattainable until they accept that they were wrong, and they will continue to be wrong. Honorable members, as we zoomed into Program 1, which has the second highest allocation of 214 million, we will go into the program for providing strategic leadership and administration supports to the department. The success and value for money in this program are evident in the continued AG findings of unqualified audit opinions from the department. This clean health status of the department is essential for setting the bar and standard for all departments to strive towards. There is also a cause for celebration in the department's immaculate and 100% success rate it has performed in paying suppliers within 30 days. We also note the existence of budget cuts as a result of the reconfiguration of the subcommittee of sub-programs to give the sub-program support in Program 3. The program continues to suffer as it continues its large portion to the compensation of employees, accounting for 50% of the allocation to the program. This will always be a thorn in flesh that the department must resolve. We are relieved to learn that the financial management sub-program will increase by 252,000 in 2024-2025 due to an internal reprioritization. Our Program 2, whose purpose is to manage and monitor fiscal sustainability of the province and ensuring the province remains fiscally viable, among other things, enhancing data collection and putting in place the mechanism for early warning signs, and to the provincial executive and the department. We note and therefore welcome the program allocation of 48 million to set up the necessary steps that will promote effective and optimal financial resources. As the Finance Portfolio Committee, and also on behalf of the ANC, we support the budget. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Zulu. The next speaker to deliberate is an IFP member, Honorable V.F. Hlabisa for 5 minutes.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable MEC for Finance, Honorable Members, media and honored guests. On behalf of the IFP, I firstly want to take this opportunity to convey our condolences to the families of the 4 male persons who were brutally killed yesterday in Wamashu Bay section. This painful instance follows a number of mass killings in our province. May the soul of the 4 deceased rest in peace. Honorable Chairperson, our province and our country have become the crime and murder scene. Unfortunately, this impacts negatively on the economy. Despite our hopelessness and despair, we remain hopeful that the killers, even in this instance, will be arrested. The IFP joins the call for the guns illegally held by individuals in our communities that they must be collected. The Finance Department is the heartbeat, the engine room and powerhouse of our government. It has a responsibility for efficient, accountable, and credible fiscal and financial management system of our finances. It is also worth noting and commend that the Treasury in our province has lived to this expectation. The consistent clean audit by Treasury is also a demonstration of leading by example and keeping to be the center of excellence in fiscal and financial management. The IFP wants to express its appreciation on progress made towards Operation Clean Audit as 8 departments achieved clean audit. Now, something good must be appreciated, and what is wrong also must be blamed. The report presented by Treasury Department to fill vacant posts is noted. Honorable Chairperson, it is acceptable that in order to give effect to cost-cutting measures in the province, different departments are supposed to apply for approval from the Office of the Premier and Treasury for the filling of posts in their departments. But sometimes departments stay with vacant critical posts for too long, waiting for approval from the authorities for them to fill their vacant positions. These delays must be attended to because they hamper service delivery. In the spirit of good governance and intergovernmental relations, the IFP also expresses appreciation for the support the department gives to municipalities to develop credible budgets and ensure that money allocated to them is effectively and efficiently utilized. Treasury must intensify its efforts at achieving sound financial management in the municipalities of the province. The audit outcomes of some of the municipalities for 2020-2022 are a great concern. Municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal are struggling financially and operationally. The IFP pleads with the department to consider playing this role more in a way that will benefit our municipalities in their areas of need and weakness. Most of our municipalities in the province are rural and suffer a lot of brain drain. Most municipalities do not have a rate base and rely solely on equitable share funding and government grants. This should be a situation that attracts necessary attention of our provincial treasury. Besides the Department of Finance exercising this role alone, our own provincial portfolio committees on finance and COGTA must also account about this situation. This province still remains shortchanged in the equitable share allocation on the basis of the provincial population figures that are not realistic in KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'll come back.
Thank you, Honorable Sabisa. The next speaker to deliberate is DA member, Honorable F.A. Rogers, for 8 minutes.
Yabulela Hlalo, Kaya wam nje. Madam Chair, let me start off by firstly once again acknowledging the tremendous work that the team at Treasury does. Our heartfelt thanks must go out to Carol and her team, Gacheni is here, and the staff of Treasury. The road ahead will only become more challenging if the departments couldn't follow suit and in fact follow in Treasury's footsteps. And as I say, it's a pity that this effective and ethical performance that we see cannot be emulated in all of our provincial departments, where we continually see contraventions of the PFMA and Treasury regulations. Chairperson, it would be amiss of me not to respond to Honourable Mageba and to the ANC on this continual attack of Chris Pappas. Now here's the reality. The reason you are angry at Chris Pappas is because he's doing a good job. And he's been recognized for it. The reason you're angry at Chris Pappas is that in just over a year, he's already turned a dysfunctional municipality left by the ANC into a functional municipality. That's the reality. And I say, don't play the man, play the ball. Now let me give you some interesting figures. If you think Chris Pappas is such a dreadful human being, there's currently a poll that's out at the moment. 11,000 people have voted on this poll. The poll's got one question. Who would you vote for Premier? MEC Duma or Mayor Chris Pappas? Here's the figures. 88% of those 11,000 people would vote for Chris Pappas. MEC Duma gets a dismal 11%. So let me take this a step further and refer to the MEC's debate, where she talks about interventions into municipalities. And this word keeps coming up from the ANC benches, leave nobody behind. That's all I've been hearing. Well, let me tell the ANC that you've left the residents of eThekwini and Umzinduzi behind. I don't need to repeat what you know about eThekwini, about the 100 million that was returned, the 122 million rand returned. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you that Umzinduzi just yesterday in a council meeting is now requesting a bailout from National Treasury. They have no money. This is what you say is leaving no one behind. But what are you actually doing about it? The municipality in Umzinduzi has been under administration for God knows how long. But the situation just gets worse. Please don't come here and attack a mayor who's actually getting things done. Because the DA gets things done. We get it done. Our track record in clean governance speaks for itself. So one of the questions I'd like to ask the MEC is, and I raised it in the debate on Tuesday, but I didn't get a concise response, is that the provincial treasury prides itself with cash blocking to avoid departments overspending. As the DA, we've always said this is a great initiative, and as the fiscal noose tightens, it needs to continue. However, in our engagements, it appears that there's one caveat to cash blocking, and that is when it comes to salaries. Cash blocking is not implemented when it comes to the payment of salaries. If this is indeed the case, Honourable MEC, why did the Department of Education have to incur almost a 1 billion rand overdraft funded by Treasury? Now, let me repeat my question so that it's quite clear. Why did the Department of Education need the 1 billion rand overdraft if cash blocking is not affected on compensation of employees? And that follows on to another question. What happens as we move into more challenging economic times and the spending pressure on education escalates? Already the Department of Education, if it should fill all its
Honourable
vacancies,
member, can you take your seat?
happy to take my seat.
Honourable Sonjita.
No, we read rules, don't worry. I rise on 57D, Madam Chair. If the member will take a question, if he would, I want to know if it's correct to ask people, to call people as frogs.
Okay, stop, Honourable member. Honourable Rogers, can you take a question?
Madam Chair, I've got more important things to deal with. On the issue,
Take a seat, Honourable Sonjita. Honourable Rogers cannot take a question, is not able to take a question. You may continue, Honourable Rogers.
here's another issue I want to raise. And that's something that seems to have disappeared into the mist. I want to remind you of a project that was undertaken called the e-procurement tool that was heralded by the then MEC, Belinda Scott. And I must say, since Belinda's left, I haven't seen anyone else of my color in these benches, which I find quite interesting. And you say you're representative of the entire community. So, you know, if you're going to throw stones, I can also throw stones. This was a project that was commenced by Treasury and funded with provincial funds. When the project went pear-shaped and it was discovered that due process hadn't been followed, this was subject to a forensic investigation. Since then, radio silence, no consequence. I realize this is not the fault of Treasury, but the question still remains: what, if any, consequence was the outcome? What happened to the fruitless and wasteful expenditure in this e-procurement tool? The forensic report had clear findings and recommendations. Were those recommendations ever implemented? The ANC keeps telling us we're dealing with corruption, we're dealing with accountability, we're dealing with consequence management. But here's a prime example of exactly the opposite. No accountability and zero consequence. I'd love the MEC in her response to prove me wrong. Perhaps it's time that the ANC did the right thing and moved forensic investigations back to where it belongs. That's with provincial treasury. Clearly, the Office of the Premier has failed dismally since taking control of forensic investigations. One just has to look at the current backlog and at the high vacancy rate in the Office of the Premier when it comes to forensic investigations. I say, Madam Chair, do the right thing. If you are serious about building a capable and ethical state, at least Treasury remains fairly untouched by politics. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Rogers. The next speaker to deliberate is an EFF, Honorable N. Gubane, for 6 minutes. EFF, Honorable N. Gubane. 1. Honorable Ngubane, 2. Honorable Ngubane, 3. We may now proceed, honorable members. I've called Honorable Ngubane 3 times and he is not, Honorable Ngubane is not available. We are now going to move on to the next speaker of the ANC, Honorable CQ Madlopa, for 9 minutes. Honorable Madlopa will be debating for 9 minutes.
Madam House Chair, honorable members, I'm privileged to address this House at such a pivotal moment for our province to pass the budget for Vote 6, which empowers Treasury to ensure fiscal viability and is responsible for the checks and balances for all our departments. The significance of this budget lays the foundation of all our plans for the provincial department as a whole. Therefore, the masses of our people are assured unequivocally that the African National Congress has once again considered this vote inspired by the aspirations and ideals of the Freedom Charter, which is our inspiration and our strategic guide to realizing a better life for every South African and citizen of this province. It is our commitment to the objectives of the Freedom Charter, which is living soul of our country's progressive constitution and is the foundation of the Vision 2030 of the National Development Plan, that has allowed us to, as from 2004, to turn this province from a largely rural, stagnant, and underwhelming, and one of the most underdeveloped provinces in the country, to a thriving, vibrant economy, where access to the services transcend party divides and where African in general and black people in particular share in the province's economic life. Everything we have done is a pursuance of the vision of the NDP to address the triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Despite the recent setbacks that have unfortunately visited our province from July unrest and April floods, costing the province 50 billion and 17 to 24 billion in damages respectively. These setbacks have not derailed the resolve against poverty, against unemployment, our resolve for development, for service delivery, and the total economic emancipation of the Africans. We therefore debate this budget in a volatile economy globally, and therefore consider the vulnerable nature under which the planning that has taken place due to fiscal consolidation. This has caused widespread budget cuts across the board, significantly reducing budget allocation for specific programs. We nonetheless applaud the MEC, HOD, CFO, and the department for working on a tightrope to produce this APP and budget, considering that we have defined this vote as a budget of the people. We are noting the significant decrease in allocation by 1.3 million in office of the Premier's sub-program, which caters for post-budget road shows and 16 days of activism. The consultative and interactiveness we always emphasize as the African National Congress government. However, we welcome the fact that these funds will be assisting Program 3 with expenditure pressures. We notice a significant decrease to most of the program due to the transfers to Program 3, which financial governance responsible for providing audit readiness and support of the provincial departments and public entities with the objective, among others, to improve audit outcomes to the province. The achievement of this sub-program is extremely important and top priority over and above setting the standards for all departments. But the department itself, to be in a position to professionalize public service, it must be emphasized, honorable members, that a clean audit in KwaZulu-Natal did not exist under the IFP rule, and the current rampant misuse of public funds in the municipalities, the core government continues to show lack of integrity and respect for the resources of the province. The IFP, who as we speak, are unable to provide water to the people of Utugela for 4 months now. The manner in which the IFP is punishing the voters of Utugela is ruthless. The people in Utugela will, however, liberate themselves soon. We wish to appeal to the people of Utugela that the African National Congress will liberate them from the IFP. The ANC is still their home, and there is still a caring organization that is not willing to leave anybody behind. The Finance Portfolio Committee raised concerns among the failure of the department to fill vacant posts, but we are assured that all 89 vacant posts were to be filled by 31st of March 2023. The other concern the committee is the under expenditure of 17 million in 22-23 financial year due to non-filling of the vacant posts. The committee took a decision that the departments must fill all the vacant funded posts in 2023-24 financial year, and Finance Committee will monitor it very closely so that they spend all this. They fill the posts that are vacant. We can safely say, honorable members, that the department has applied itself to the guidance and wisdom of the Portfolio Committee of this House and other structures of policy directive. As I learned, honorable Chairperson, I reiterate the mandate of the African National Congress by echoing the words of our icon, President Mandela, when he said, I quote, "I would like to emphasize the aim of our campaign over again. We are not in opposition to any government or class of the people. We are opposing a system which for years kept a vast section of the non-European people in bondages. Though it takes us years, we are prepared to continue. Only through hardship, sacrifice, and militant action can freedom be won. The struggle is my life. I will continue fighting for freedom until the end of my days." The African National Congress support this budget because it's a progressive budget. And we hear Honorable Umhlekazi talking about the African National Congress. They forget that we are not surprised when they are talking like that. The DA are the beneficiaries and defenders of colonialism that have chosen to spend their dying days in the marriage with the IFP. And there is nothing that really the DA has done. Today we are talking about the backlogs because they failed during their time of the apartheid to really give the service delivery to the African people. It is only African National Congress that is in a position to change the lives of our people for the better. I don't think that the DA will ever govern this province. They will stay where they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member. And the next speaker is an NFP member, Honorable C.M. Shinga, for 2 minutes.
Yeah. The NFP has concerned about the baseline, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. The NFP has concerns about the baseline over the 2023-2024 MTF is being negatively impacted by the carry-through effects of the 2021-2022 budget cuts. This undermines the strategic goal of prioritizing economic transformation and job creation in accordance with the APP. The NFP is also concerned that the department's budget had been reduced by 8.509 million, putting it further from the baseline. We are happy to see that 14.6 million has been reallocated to the department for the 2023-2024, since these monies were suspended from the department's budgets in 2022-2023 due to identified underspending. We urge the National Treasury to approve the return of these funds to the province, including the 10 million that the department is requesting to be utilized to support the creation of EPWP jobs as a result of the Provincial Executive Council Lekgotla's decision that the department needs to expand EPWP projects. We welcome the newly authorized organizational structure, primarily for increasing the overall personnel number for the department from 473 in 2021-2022 to 582 in 2023-2024, as well as improving the number of field vacant openings. We strongly endorse the department's decision-making to minimize reliance on consultants as the means to help fill the vacant posts. Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker to debate is an MF member, Honorable Esther Kaur Rajpansi, for 2 minutes. Honorable Rajpansi for 2 minutes. Honorable Thakur Rajpansi for 2 minutes. It seems as if Honorable Rajpansi is not connected. Honorable Rajpansi is not here in the chamber, and Honorable Rajpansi is not connected. And we are going to move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Honorable M.E. Phakathi of the ATM for 2 minutes.
Sihlalo asibonge kakhulu. Honorable MEC Mawami ungcono eke ngikhuluma no Mawami namhlanje. Siyamukela si ATM isabelo sezimali se department yakho. Kodwa nakho nje okuwumphako Mawami ngoba sakufundiswa uwe. Wasifundisa esikhulu ukuthi silwela amalungelo abantu abamnyama. Sakhula sikulwela lawo malungelo ke. Sicela ke nibheke la emthethweni yenu. Eminye imithetho yenu has too much red tape. Ayibavumela abantu bakithi abamnyama. Even your own policy as ANC, ye RET will remain a rhetoric. Uma ngabe ingabhekwa lento yokuthiwa imithetho evumela ukuthi abantu bakithi abamnyama bakwazi ukusukunyiswa babeke kwi-mainstream economy, nalabo abalapha phansi badonswe, akubekwe imithetho ngoba laba nje bethi bafuna ukubuya ngeke badlale meke nasaba nini ukuthi nenze lento. Siyabonga, siyasupport.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable members who have received an apology from Honorable S.E. Manqele, who was going to debate for 2 minutes. We are now going to move on to the IFP member, Honorable V.F. Hlabisa, for 5 minutes.
Honorable Chairperson, when I debated on the SOPA, I respected the speaker when she requested me to withdraw what I said. But I want to assure the members of the ruling party, as they keep on throwing stones to the IFP, nisazolithwala isaka eligcwele amanzi kuma by-elections. The province, Honorable Chair, with all humility and respect, kundunankulu, kumhlonishwa uNkonyeni nendlunkulu, umlando uyosehlulela kabi. Ukuhola kwamakhosi kwaqala ngesikhathi senkosi uDinuzulu. Yeah, you don't know history. You will make noise because you don't read. Yeah, I'm telling you. You must go and read. Yeah, no. You must go and read. Honorable Chair, the IFP cannot take credit, nor the ANC can take empty credit on the issue of payment of Amakhosi. The erstwhile KwaZulu government made it better and even encouraged Amakhosi to go to school and even pursue qualifications to better equip themselves as leaders of their traditional communities. You know what? You really don't deserve to be called honorable members. Yeah, because you behave like empty vessels. Yeah. Honorable Chair, I want to...
Honorable Member, Honorable V.F. Hlabisa, can you take your seat?
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Honorable Member, you are standing on
I
which
rise
role?
on 57(1)A. The honorable member is grossly out of order. He can't be directly conversing with members of this house. Anything that he needs to say, he must say it through you. He knows that he's out of order. Thank you very much.
57(1)A, but what is the rule that she's compromising? Because what is the rule that she's compromising?
Honorable Chair, I want to pay tribute to Inkosi Nyanga Ngubane. It is Inkosi Nyanga Ngubane who in 2001 initiated and introduced the training of Amakhosi at the University of Zululand on a number of courses including conflict management, land administration, and community development. When Inkosi Ngubane died in 2010, I agree with the words said by the then MEC for Traditional Affairs, Honorable Nomsa Dube, and the then Speaker of the Legislature, Honorable Peking Konyeni, who said, I quote, Inkosi Nyanga Ngubane was instrumental in ensuring that the KwaZulu-Natal government's effort to strengthen the institution of traditional leadership became successful. He was a visionary leader who we will miss. Close quote. Udaba lwezigodlo zesilo ngifisa ukulubeka futhi luqonde. Izigodlo ezesilo ezihleli esihlalweni Isigodlo saSolundi, isigodlo senkosi uCetshwayo, isigodlo sakwaDlamahlahla, isigodlo sikaMqwalajuba isilo uSolomon, isigodlo saSosuthu, isigodlo sesilo uDinuzulu, isigodlo sakwakhetho umthandayo, isigodlo sesilo uBhekuzulu, isigodlo sakwakhangela amankengane, isigodlo sesilo uZwelithini, isigodlo sasenyokeni, isigodlo sendlunkulu okamsweli. Ngakho ke Honorable Chair, izigodlo ngezesilo esihleli esihlalweni. Siaweke ukuthi isifundazwe sifuna ukwenza isigodlo okuzothiwa iseat yiko omkhulu la kuhlala khona isilo. Asiphikisani nalokho thina. Kodwa ukuwithdraw kwamaphoyisa kwizigodlo zesilo ukubukela phansi ubukhosi bukaZulu esithi ngeke sikuvume kwenzeke during
Thank
our
you,
time.
Honorable Member.
Thank you.
Your time is up. The next speaker to deliberate. This is the last speaker, Honorable Members. It's the last speaker. Order, Honorable Members, order. We are having the last speaker of the ANC, Honorable T.S. Mjali, for 10 minutes. Order, Honorable Members.
Honorable Chair,
Can we allow
the
Honorable
Speaker
Mjali
of the House,
to debate?
the executive members who are here, members of the House, please receive my revolutionary greetings. Allow me to start by Honorable Rogers. He comes here, acknowledge the good work that has been done by Treasury. He says that he thanks the officials, but he does not thank the MEC, who happens to be a woman. Hypocrites of the highest order. When things are wrong, the DA, they are the first ones to blame the MECs. When things are being done right, a department is doing things correctly, the DA is rejecting to give credit to the MEC. Hypocrites of the highest order. But the tendency within the DA of insulting women was seen yesterday. Honorable Kika, Honorable Nai was raising a point. He stood up and said, sit down, very rudely. That's how you treat women. We know your tendency of how you treat women in the DA. Shame on yourselves. Now, Honorable Shabisa, you see, I think the IFP must reconsider that a president of the party at least must go to national, you know, so that it doesn't get to engage with us. You know, it becomes a bit very embarrassing. He says that the IFP started this process of Izinduna being paid. The IFP was working with apartheid government. If they wanted that, they would have received it. There was nothing that was going to stop the apartheid government to give them the opportunity. So the reality of the matter is that, by the way, that is why we are not surprised that the IFP again, the leader of the DA confirmed that as they go to 2024, they are working with the IFP. We are not shocked because the IFP work with Abacindezeli. Helen Zille, day in, day out, insult black people. Shame on yourself, Honorable Shabisa, to be associated with those that hate black people. Upapazo usibiza ngamaselesele, Honorable Shabisa, and you want to work with the DA, Shabisa. Now, as I proceed, former President Thabo Mbeki once said, and I quote, "If the saying out of nothing, nothing comes, it is true, then it must follow that the future is formed and derives its first impulse in the womb of the present. And all societies, therefore, necessarily bear the imprint, the birthmarks of their own past, whether to the greater or lesser extent, it must depend on the whole concentration of factors, both internally and externally, to each particular society," close quote. Honorable Chair, we can confirm that we approve both the Treasury, APP, and the budget after rigorous scrutiny that was done by the Portfolio Committee of Finance. We drilled down to each APP target and program from the first to the final draft. The total budget was anonymously approved, which is slightly up from 631 million. There is one thing we know, that the Treasury, Honorable MEC, will spend it economically, effectively, and efficiently as per the PFMA, which you have been proving all these years. The whole program 3 is allocated at a total amount of 221 million, which is slightly up from the previous one, which was 206 million of the revised estimate. It is divided into 7 sub-programs, but one of the public-private partnership, there was no allocation that was done to it, which is a bit of a concern. Honorable Chair, Program 4 is allocated 108 million, which is up from the 97 million which was allocated in the previous year. This program is subdivided into 3 sub-programs. You will also notice, Chair, that in Program 5, the allocation is 72 million, which is down from the previous year, which was 73 million. This program is divided into 5 sub-programs. The majority of these sub-programs are geared to help the municipalities as they struggle with accounting and reporting, as well as adopting fully funded budgets, and to assist them in the main with regards to functioning of the municipality, which has to do with the revenue and the debt management. Chair, it is important to note that some of the businesses and as well as government departments are owing municipalities a lot of money, and this kills our municipalities. Hence, we call upon the Municipal Finance Unit, which must pull all stops to camp in struggling municipalities to render support, and the assistance must be done or must be coordinated through COCTA. Further to that, we as the Finance Portfolio Committee must also render support to the municipalities that the MEC of Finance has tabled in terms of Section 71 report. We as the Finance Portfolio Committee must select municipalities that are fingered by the report in order to visit them. Our main aim should be to render support as to see improvement in the compliance with the MFMA as they continue to execute their work. We will do so equally, understanding that they are equal partners, because we know that they also form part of the 3 spheres of government. Allow me, as I conclude, Chair, to quote a very progressive leader. Wait. A government or a party is Frantz Fanon. You might not know him. Boer, listen here, it's Frantz Fanon, eh? No, it's Frantz Fanon. And Frantz Fanon, and this is what Frantz Fanon says. A government or party gets the people it deserves, and sooner or later, a people gets the government it deserves, close quote. To our people of KwaZulu-Natal, who are the party that you deserve, you are the people that we deserve as an African National Congress. We say that without being ashamed, because we made a contract with you as the people. Today, there are people who have houses. Today, there are people who have water. Today, there are people who have electricity. Today, there are children who go to school without paying. Today, there are learners who go to higher learning institutions without paying for it. We've walked this journey from liberating and fighting apartheid, when some on my left were defending apartheid, but we as an African National Congress were working with you. We are saying that we are a party that you deserve as the people, because we know your plight. We know your poverty. We've tasted poverty ourselves. We come from poverty, but through the African National Congress, we made a contract with you, with the people. We said that we are promising you a better life for all. That is why there are people who have houses today. That is why there are people who have access to funds from our institutions so that they can pursue businesses. While the apartheid defenders, even till today, they defend monopoly capital. They defend apartheid in the basis of rejecting the black policies that seeks to advance radical economic transformation. They are the first one to defend white people, but they will never defend a black person. They are the first one to defend white monopoly policies that reject black people. But we want to say to you, we are the party that you deserve, because you as the people, you are the people that we as an African National Congress we deserve. We continue as we marshal our forces to 2024. We say to you, walk with us because we've been with you when it was not fashionable. Walk with us because you have seen tangible changes that we have made in your life. We are saying we are the only organization that is biased to the working class, while some reject the working class. Every policy of the ANC is based on a contract that we have with the people. We don't represent ourselves, we represent the people. We don't fight for ourselves, we fight for the people. No one there can challenge us on that, because even them, they know the truth. We have come too far as an African National Congress to change the lives of our people. We are the only organization that is non-rational. We are the only organization that embraces every person in South Africa. Today, they want to come here and grandstand, but we are saying again, as they shout, we are the government you deserve. You are the people that the African National Congress deserve. I salute you.
Honorable members, order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Order. We're now calling upon the MEC for Finance, Honorable Nkonyeni, to respond. Honorable Nkonyeni, I'm going to give you 18 minutes.
How many minutes?
Honorable members, we are recording, so please, there must be order in the House.
Thank you very much.
Order, Honorable Kaul. Honorable MEC, you are going to respond for 18 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairperson, Honorable Swapo Ntombela. Let me start off by appreciating all members. Let me start off by appreciating all members of the provincial legislature who have actually participated in this debate. I'm so tempted to start by responding to Honorable Hlabisa. Honorable Hlabisa, you were actually afforded an opportunity to participate in the general debate. Le also raise a zigodlo does not actually belong here. It belonged to the general debate, and I fully agree with Manchinga that actually as the president of a party, you are supposed to have been deployed in Cape Town. You know, when you came in here, your posture was that of a very respectable man. And we all respected you because we thought you were actually deserving that respect from all of us. But now I don't know whether Untuli is actually threatening you out there. I saw Untuli this morning distributing food parcels. Actually. And yes, I'm a wallinch. Abantwana. Siya-appreciate lokho kodwa ngizwile ukuthi abanye abakhona la endlini baye bamhlebela bathi hayi sobe simvalele ngale wena hamba ke uhambe yo distribute. Ngisakubona ukuthi ukuhlukumezile ngendlela sekuhlukumeze ngayo uNtuli. Usushintshile manje awuseyena lo bulawa yesimazi. Uyabona ke Kodwa ke nicishe nifane izolo nje nangumphephetwa uhlukumeze kabi udadewethu umamthethwa laphana emphuca ama-minute hayi emphuca nangu ukhawula emphuca nje ama-minute okudebate ukhawula patriarchy comes in many ways, in different ways, my dear. Seningaze nibamba ama-minute nje nabantu besifazane. Hayi, lenu nje inzima kakhulu. All right, thank you very much to the Honorable Chairperson. Angikulalele. Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Mpazima, for your unwavering support and all members of the Portfolio Committee. Indeed, we are trying to support all government departments, public entities, and municipalities as provincial treasury. And we will ensure that we continuously play an oversight role over the budgets that have been allocated to various entities and government departments, including municipalities. So thank you very much for supporting the budget that has just been presented here for provincial treasury. Again, Honorable Zulu Makeba, we appreciate the accolades that we received as provincial treasury. Abanye ke bahluleka ukuncoma noma i-treasury yenza kahle. We need to have a very effective provincial treasury. A very strong provincial treasury will ensure that all government departments perform effectively and efficiently. That is why sometimes we become harsh to colleagues, but we have decided to engage the members of the Executive Council this time around because we learned that most of the time the accounting officers would not convey the messages that the Treasury had actually engaged them on. So hence we now decided that we'll engage our colleagues in the Executive Council. We are doing exactly that. With regards to filling in of vacancies, I think we have narrated the reasons thereof, of failing to fill in some of the vacancies. Of course, a number of them have been filled. We are experiencing a situation whereby some of our officials would be poached by other government entities and government departments. But as we have already committed, we'll continue recruiting capable officials in the department, in the provincial treasury. Honorable Shabisa, thank you for acknowledging the achievements of the department. At least uyakwazi ukuncoma mawuthanda. Bese ke uyagxeka moso kufanele ukuthi ubona sengathi kufanele ugxeke. We are trying by all means as the provincial treasury to perform our tasks of ensuring that there is prudent financial management in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. With regards to Honorable Lodgers, it is wrong for Mayor Papas to insult Black African people. It's very, very wrong. He is, according to us, he is a racist of note. No one is allowed to call people amaselesele. Noma ngabe kuthiwa kwenzekeni, kodwa mayisethi abantu ba amaselesele. That is a very serious insult, and as a leader of the Democratic Alliance in this province, we were actually expecting you to condemn the utterances of Mayor Papas. But because you also embrace insulting Black African people, you are quiet about it. You have never uttered even a single word of condemnation. That is unacceptable for any leader to do that. Again, I would like to indicate that the municipalities that you were referring to, which are eThekwini Metro and Umsunduzi, are referred to as non-delegated municipalities. In other words, provincial treasury does not have any mandate to monitor the performance, the financial performance of those two municipalities, but the National Treasury is responsible for that. But as the Provincial Executive Council, we took a decision that as much as we are quite aware of the fact that we are not supposed to intervene in those two municipalities, we will continue to intervene as and when it becomes necessary because they fall under the jurisdiction of our province of KwaZulu-Natal. So if they do not perform, we are also affected somehow. Hence, we decided that we will also pay attention to what is obtaining in those two municipalities. We must always avoid sending back resources that have been allocated to the province of KwaZulu-Natal for service delivery purposes. Hence, we also condemn those municipalities that are mismanaging financial resources or even having budgets that cannot be approved, like many municipalities that we alluded to earlier on, but will continuously support all of them. You also indicated that the Department of Education experienced an overdraft. It is not true. The Department of Education does not have an overdraft. They have overspent on their compensation of employees due to baseline budget cuts. We have been indicating that the two social services department, that of the Department of Education and Department of Health, have been affected negatively by the budget cuts that have been happening over time. We'll continuously support the two departments, including the Department of Social Development. So we are saying we avoided an overdraft as the provincial department. And regarding the e-procurement, you are saying forensic audit unit should go back to Treasury. A decision was taken by the Provincial Executive Council that the OTP, Office of the Premier, would actually deal with forensic audits. And according to my knowledge, reports have actually, some certain reports have been concluded and they will be tabled by the OTP when time for that allows. So again, with regards to the e-procurement that you referred to, according to my understanding, the forensic report did not show any corrupt activity, and the only issue was that the National Treasurer did not approve the implementation of the system. Approve the implementation of the system. Approval or non-approval is not tantamount to corruption. Yes, it's not tantamount, it was not tantamount to that, to corruption. So due processes were followed, and that project was properly implemented until it was stopped before conclusion, and all disciplinary matters were completed and reported to the audit committee. It's something that happened before my time, but I am reporting because we inherit all that happened, even if you were not there. Honorable Shinga, yes, everybody is concerned about the reduction of budgets, but of course we will utilize what has been allocated to us accordingly. Undodana wami umfoka phakathi Mpangazitha uqinisile ngesinye isikhathi imithetho esishayayo yenza ukuthi noma ngabe sifuna ukusheshisa ukwenza izinto kodwa uthola ukuthi akusheshiseki kahle. That is why I emphasized on the fact that we should pay attention to the bill that is referred to as the preferential procurement bill that is about to be promulgated. We need to participate in the lawmaking process, all of us, so that we may influence the outcome of that public participation process. Ukuze kwenzeke lokhu esifisa ukuthi kwenzeke, futhi uqinisile ukuthi onke abakayikhonjwa laba mzukwane kodwa noma kuyiphupho nje, mzukwane bathatha amandla bayokwenza konke lokhu thina esikuhloniphayo sithi hayi ngenxa yalwamthetho nalwamthetho. Kumanje nje imithetho lapha kwamasipala abayazi nokuthi ya exist, bayazenzela nje. Bayazenzela nje. So ke kuyofanele ukuthi ngempela bese bedelela futhi bazenzele nje badelele. Ngikhumbula enye engagement esike saba nayo National Council of Provinces, where we witnessed a behavior from one of the leaders of one of the municipalities that are under the authority of the IFP, bedelela National Council of Provinces. Bakhuzeni ke baholi bakhona. Bakhuzeni. Awenziwa lento abayenza lapho delela beni. And it's not true ukuthi iIFP ibikhokhela induna ilo ANC-led government oqala indaba okhokhela induna. It's this ANC-led government. Amakhosi ayenikeza 50 cents. 50 cents ungawenzani 50 cents? You know? Wayengafiki ngisho kuPondo ukuthi uPondo odwa onikeza 50 cents bese beqanjwa ke imigwaqo yonke ke iqanjwe ngawo amakhosi uthi yabona thula wena ngoba umgwaqo usuqambe ngawo. Uzodla uqanjwa ngawo ngomgwaqo moyo olundi nje yonke imigwaqo iqanjwe ngamakhosi iqanjwe ngamakhosi bafanele badla ukuthi imigwaqo iqanjwe ngawo. Hayibo musani ukusho amanyala ngoba amanyala enu siyawazi. Ningasho nje izinto ezingekho ngoba sizoyiphendula bese kuba buhlungu mase siphendula. And I fully agree with the notion that says we should actually consider filling in all vacancies. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank Thank you, MEC, and I would like to thank the department under the leadership of HOD, as well as the MEC for this well-crafted budget on Treasury. And it was also well presented. I also want to thank the audience. It's a well-behaved audience. We have now come to the end of budget debate on vote 6, finance, and we are now going to move on to vote 2. And the chairperson, chair of chairs, is going to preside over this vote. Honorable Mavimbela, Mtaka Mandlovu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swartboy, for steering the ship very well as the presiding officer of the first session of our day. Greetings to all honorable members that are in the House on both benches, and also greetings to the audience up there. We are continuing with the work of today. Honorable members, we will now proceed with the debate on vote 2. I wish to confirm that the budget report for 2023-2024 of the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature has been tabled in terms of the standing rules. Therefore, I will request the Honorable Speaker of the Legislature, Honorable Nontembeko Nothemba Boys, to present the budget vote 2 in the House. Honorable Mahubela. You are having 45 minutes, Tatewethu.
Rogers isixabene waphuma mangizwe. Thank you, Chair of Committees, Honorable Mavimbela, the Deputy Speaker of the Legislature, Honorable Mtizman R.T. Mthembu, Mkhwenyana kaSisi Mabongi, the Honorable Premier, members of the Executive Council, the Chief Whip, and your Deputy, the Secretary of the Legislature, the members, the Leader of the Official Opposition and the Chief Whip of the Opposition, senior management, senior managers of the Legislature, government, departments, management, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members and chairperson of this august House. We make this budget speech